beautiful soul. Have you ever found yourself tired, knowing that you have to be to class, but jumping up out of bed, throwing on the clothes, washing your face, brushing your teeth, and heading off to school? And you arrive at school bringing nothing but yourself, like ill prepared. How successful were you or will you be when you choose to show up ill prepared? I believe without a shadow of a doubt that prayer is essential. And when you establish a prayer routine, you have to have the correct tools to continue to build that routine on a firm foundation. I believe that there are 5 key things that are needed when building a prayer routine. You've already established it, but now you need to build on it. First and foremost, I think the tool that you need most is to create momentum. I think that when you establish a prayer routine, that you need to be able to commit to a specific time of prayer. You can decide, okay, I'm going to pray for 5 minutes every morning from 6 to 6:05. Or you could say, okay, I'm going to pray for 15 minutes on my lunch break every day from 12 to 12:15 or from 12:15 to 12:30. I think that you need to start somewhere in order to create momentum. A lot of us say many times when we encounter people and they're going through a hard time, we could be like, I'm going to pray for you. But how many of us truly set a time and honor that time and pray for that person? Or is it just a habit that we have of saying what people want to hear and not following through on it? I believe, because prayer is essential, that we need to start with deciding on the time, a time. Choose a time, put it on the calendar, put it on the clock, you know what I mean? And get that momentum started. And I guarantee you that once you create a momentum of prayer, it's just going to pick up speed and it's just going to take you further. I also believe that when building, you need the correct tools. You need to be realistic. Like, don't commit to 15 minutes a day when you know you can only do 5. Don't commit to praying 3 times a day when you know you can only do 1. Be realistic. God honors your efforts. Even if you decide that I'm going to pray for 5 minutes a day and you honor that 5 minutes a day, as opposed to you saying, I'm going to pray for an hour every day and you only do it once in 30 days. Like, be honest with yourself. Be honest with the Lord. Be realistic. Time is on your side. Use it wisely. Use it wisely and be realistic about it. I think that the third key to getting the tools that you need to build a prayer routine is incorporating prayer tools. For me, I learn, the more of my senses that I engage. When I'm learning, the better I retain the information. So I try to incorporate as many resources as possible, as many tools as possible. So I'll have the Bible, I'll have the concordance, I'll have the Bible dictionary, I'll have the Bible app, I'll have the Blue Letter app, which is like a concordance, a digital form of a concordance. I'll have 3x5 cards. I'll have my journal. I have my pens. I'll have my highlighters. And I will literally engage as many of my senses as possible so that I can retain as much of the information as possible. So I would suggest that when building your prayer routine, make sure you pick the resources that resonate with you. If you know for a fact that, you are a writer and you take a long time to dictate what it is that you're thinking or you're feeling, then focus on writing. If you know for a fact that you need that physical copy of that book, that Bible, that concordance, that dictionary in your hand because you're a page flipper and you like to engage your senses and say, okay, I see this. I'm reading it. I hear this. I'm turning the page. I feel this. You know what I mean? Whatever your learning style is, be sure to incorporate the tools that cultivate growth, that cultivate retention, that cultivate knowledge. You absorbing the knowledge that you are receiving. Next, I would suggest that we practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is being aware and present in the very moment. It's like I lived for a long time in the what if. So I would be like, what if I don't get this? Or what if this happens? You know what I mean? I lived for the what if. I lived for the when. When I get this, I will do that. When I get there, I will want to go here. You know what I mean? And I had to learn to implement mindfulness. So what I do in practicing mindfulness is I am aware of the moment that I am in. In this moment, I am looking to encounter God. So I am going to focus on all things that help me to encounter God. So I am going to feel what I feel in the moment. If I am reading something that triggers me and brings up a memory, I'm going to ground myself in the moment. I am here in the presence of God. I am studying his word and I am hearing his voice. I am documenting what I hear him say and I am enjoying his presence. I learned to practice mindfulness as a tool to keep me grounded and present in God's presence so that I can cultivate my relationship with him and not worry about the pain and the trials and tribulations that are waiting for me once I leave this sacred place. No, I am going to stay present. I am going to feel the love that God is communicating to me. I am going to hear his word. I am going to focus on receiving solutions to the problems that I'm facing. I'm focused on next steps. What is God telling me to do next? So practicing mindfulness is a great tool to implement into your prayer routine. And last but not least, self-reflection. I tell the story all the time where I was a believer and I had been in the church for years. And I had been praying on prayer ministries, interceding on other people's behalf for years. But it was not until I began to practice mindfulness and I began to create momentum and I had the tools that were needed in God's presence and God began to transform my life that I recognized that I'm the problem. It ain't them. It's me. And once God began to show me my sinful self in his word, then I was aware that I was the problem. But when God helped me to become self-aware, I also began to ask all of these questions like, well, God, what about this? Because I believed that everybody else was the problem. I believed that pain was happening to me and my perspective was wrong. But once I became aware and I realized that I had power and control over the direction that my life went, then I began to look at life differently. And the way that we practice self-reflection and self-awareness is by journaling. I believe that journaling is essential to prayer because what God revealed to me is journaling is God's resume of how he shows up in your life. Journaling is the point of reference that you need to identify the transformation that's happening in your life. I know for me, if I would not have been journaling over the last 8 years, I would not be able to share my testimony with the conviction that I had because I was able to see through God's word my sinful self. And I was able to see in God's words the solutions. And I was able to go back and see the change, the transformation, the maturity, God developing me, the character that God was developing me. I was able to go back to my journal and see how my prayers went from beggarly prayers to declarations. And I encourage anyone who is working to build on their prayer relationship or their prayer routine to incorporate the tool of journaling. It is powerful. It is life-changing to actually see the transformation. Like, it's amazing. Like, we all like to watch and entertain ourselves with movies, but to actually look at the movie of your life, to look at the journey of your life, and to read your life on paper and to see the transformation, it's encouraging. It's empowering. And I recommend it for any and everyone. I believe that there are a lot more tools that could be implemented in prayer, but I just wanted to hop on to drop these 5 tools to help build upon your prayer routine. So if you are ready to go deeper in your relationship with the Lord and you are looking for resources that can help you do that, I would suggest that you implement these 5 tools into your life to strengthen your prayer relationship, to build, to go deeper, to go further, to go higher, and to just be your best self with the Father. If you are interested in building upon the relationship that you already have and you find yourself struggling with finding the time and prioritizing yourself, I invite you to join my 3-day break-free challenge, where you can discover how to build healthy relationships, self-care practices, and to implement mindfulness into your everyday life to gain momentum towards the person and the future that you desire for yourself. And we all know that God desires for his children. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification button so that you could be notified when the next video drop. Follow me on all social media platforms at Debbie Pope Williams. Visit my website, DebbiePopeWilliams.com. Look at the products and services that I offer. Come grow with me. Be blessed and be well.